I remember standing on the plaza during a Shabbat morning outside. We had not yet moved back into our sanctuary for Shabbat morning services, or maybe it was one of those in-between times where we had come back in, feeling the pains of having the world open and close, and we had moved back outside. But anyway, we didn't stop. We just moved outside. As you walked in, you saw that we can do that here. Beautiful plaza outside, all the chairs set up. What do we really need to pray together on a Shabbat morning? A Torah, some Sidurim, an ark if we're feeling really ambitious. The Torah portion that morning was terumah. It was gifts. Kol ish asher yidvenu libo. From every person who felt moved in their heart to contribute, they should bring something to help with the construction of the Mikdash. And out of those precious gifts, va'asuli mikdash v'shochanti b'tocham. Some of you are nodding like maybe you were there on that Shabbat. They should bring gifts to God and build a sanctuary so that I, God, may dwell among them. As much of this parsha focuses on the gifts and the materials that are actually needed to build the sanctuary, the rabbis focus on this word b'tocham, that God should dwell among them, the people. They point out that it doesn't say dwell inside of the sanctuary. Rather, God aspires to dwell among the people. It is the people that make the holy space, and wherever the people are, that is where you can find God and Jewish community. I remember feeling even a little bit emotional as I delivered these words that morning because here we were, sitting outside of our sanctuary. We could not pray inside. And yet we knew from experience and from right there in our parsha that while we longed for the indoor sanctuary, God could dwell among us wherever we gathered. I couldn't help but think of this verse when putting pen to paper about the theme of our high holy days this year. 5783, plant, nurture, and grow. You've probably seen it quite a few times by now. Plant, nurture, and grow. Since becoming rabbi here at Beth Shalom, all I dream about is that each of us can take ownership of this community in our own way, of the seeds that we plant and in sustaining the future of this community, not just in showing up on the high holy days or by paying our dues, but taking a real look inside and asking yourself, why are you a part of this community? And what do you have, levavcha, in your own heart to make this community the special place that it is? That is the planting. Starting new traditions, planting new seeds, and seeing what we can create as we enter into this new year. But we must not approach this garden as if we're breaking ground for the first time. Look around. Tonight and over the next 10 days, we have a rich garden here already. It is full of history and memories. Many of you have been here for long enough to have seen many changing seasons. And some of you are just beginning here. And so we must continue to plant, but respect the soil that we're planting in. The generations that have come before us who have laid this strong foundation. And I'm confident that if we can plant new seeds and honor the beautiful traditions that are here already, if we are true to ourselves and our beliefs and we give from our hearts, then others will want to be a part of that as well, and we will grow. Plant, nurture, and grow. Just like the Mikdash, we can plant a garden anywhere. All we need is seeds and soil, water and sun, and God will dwell among us in our Kihila Kedosha, our holy community. To begin our Yamim Noraim this year, in these days of awe and gathering together, Rabbi Richmond and I each want to give the community a Kavanna, an intention and blessing as we usher in the new year. When I let the community know just a few months ago that Rabbi Richmond was on board, Many of you reached out in relief, I think for me, and excitement for all of us. Many of you called us the dream team. I can't totally disagree. And what Rabbi Richmond and I realized in entering in this new year is that together, what we're entering in this new year as a team is that together we have been serving the community for 31 years. Rabbi Richmond's 23 and my 8. So while we're standing before you perhaps differently than before, we are different, you are different. This is our community. And I know I speak for both of us when I say we are humbled to be embarking on yet another high holiday season with all of you. There is a midrash that teaches that teshuvah was created even before the world and humanity were created. Before the creation of the world, God knew that life would be messy, that there would be evil, that humankind would benefit from the opportunity of revisiting and examining their past in order to learn from it, to look at missteps, intentional and unintentional, and strive to make it right. Even more so, to learn from those experiences to such a degree that should one end up in the same situation again, they would know to act and react differently. There is another teaching about teshuvah that you should make sure to do teshuvah on the day before you die. And of course, the rabbis ask, well, how do you know for certain the exact day that you're going to die? And of course, the answer is do teshuvah today, lest you should not be here tomorrow. Just this past Shabbat, we read Parshat Nitzavim. Moses is nearing his death, giving his final words to the people. And in this Parsha, we find the origin of teshuvah, the root word used 8 times, return, come back, go back, turn around, followed by lo bashamayim hi. Teshuvah. It's not in the heavens. It is not so far above you that you cannot reach it. We all have access to this spiritual practice of teshuvah. And according to this teaching, we should be living it not just during these 10 days and the month of Elul. We should be living it all the time, lest we are not here tomorrow. My kavanna for us as we enter into these next 10 days and into 5783 is that we do not wait. Not only concerning teshuvah, but in how you live in the world. Do not wait for tomorrow to make those amends. Do not wait until tomorrow to eat at the favorite restaurant that you've been meaning to try or travel to a destination that you've dreamed about. Do not wait until tomorrow to learn something new, call an old friend, or visit someone who's sick. Return to the person who you are meant to be, but have not yet become.
So tomorrow when we get to the shofar service, the blessing for the shofar service, of course, is lishmoa kol shofar, to hear the voice, the sounds, the vibrations. You could translate it any of those ways of the shofar. And I realized that my kavanna, my intention for these next 10 days, is to really try to listen deeply. And I want to say that somehow over the past several years, the month of Elul, which just ended, and we're just entered into Tishrei, the new year, it's Rosh Chodesh, the new month as well as the new year. Somehow over these past many years, I've become like the poster rabbi for Elul. And a lot of people want to ask me to teach on Elul, and I love Elul. I mean, it's not a coincidence. I really believe in it, and I have all kinds of practices that I try to engage all month. And I'm only saying this because my intention, my kavanah, is everything that I've done now to forget it, to just let it go. Because I don't want to come to the shofar, to the year, staying with what I already think I know. but I want to open to what I can now maybe hear or perceive. Rav Kook, in his monumental work, Orot Teshuvah, he taught that there's something called Hir Hurei Teshuvah, which is like wisps or whispers of tshuva, thoughts, passing thoughts of tshuva. And he said that just those little kind of like, oh, huh, should I think about that? Oh, what's going on there? Just not even fully formed thoughts. That is actually like the voice, the kol, talking to you. And the more you can listen for its frequency, the louder the voice can get, the louder you can hear it. So my Kavanna is the following. May I listen to the call of the shofar and to all of the kolot, all of the voices. May these be 10 days of deep listening, surrendering over and over to the hints and clues and instructions offered, in a word offered or conversation shared by someone here at Shul, in a fleeting feeling or insight, in a sensation or knowing in my body or my spirit, listening to the still small voices all around and inside. May I listen deeply to these voices so that I may follow each hint deeper and closer to the truest me, which is, of course, towards capital Y, you. I'd like to invite everyone here to take a moment to think about what your Kavanna is for these next days. From this eve of the new year to the final shofar call after Ne'ilah, what do you want to bring, release, or offer? We're going to provide some musical accompaniment to your thinking. From Rav Kook also.
יש לך כנפי רוח, כנפי נשרים אווירים, אל תחכש בם, פן יחכשו לך. דרוש אותם, דרוש בן אדם, וימצאו מיד. בן אדם, עלה למעלה, עלה למעלה, עלה בן אדם, עלה למעלה, בן אדם, עלה למעלה, עלה